Good morning, Morgan, and good morning to any of Morgan's friends that have joined us for this video today. And we're continuing our talk about the URL library and the different functions and classes that are available to us to help us when we're writing our code, at least the part of the code that allows our Python program to interact with a website or whatever it is that is outside of out there on the internet. So anyway, so today we're going to talk about these two functions here that we have, and what they pretty much do is they convert. In the first one, the path name to URL. You're taking the location of whatever it is that your file is on the in the file system, in the directory, okay, and you're linking it to the URL of the website, right? And in the second one, URL to path name, it's going in reverse. Okay? And, we're not going to talk about it too much because you need to actually be programming it and getting it to work to figure out how this thing really works. So in that vein, when you're trying to figure out how something like this works, you want to look at, how it's used. All right, so this is a bit of code that executes in the beginning, okay, where it's actually using these codes, right? And so, like for right now, it's checking to see what your operating system is on your box. NT is like a server type of operating system. Risco's is an operating system. I don't know what that's about. Maybe a Mac. I don't know. And then the default is, here we go. So the default is we go in here and, let me back up a little bit. So if it's the NT thing, it imports the these two path names from this library. Okay, notice the names are the same. Okay, and then if it's this guy, it imports it from here. So what I'm saying is that this function and this function, even though they've got the same names, are slightly different because they're tailored to work with that particular operating system. And then here we see the same thing up here where we see what it's actually doing on the inside. And what it's doing is using the unquote and the quote function to do this path name. Do you see how this is working? Okay. And then I've created I've got the definitions for the quote and the unquote. So you can see all the code that has been written to get us to do this job. All right. Now, we don't have to actually understand exactly how this code works. All we need to know is what are the inputs and what are the outputs. Okay, and we got to make sure that we send it the right inputs and that it gives us the right outputs out. Okay, and because this is maintained by Python, there should never be a problem. Maybe an issue with what version you're running. Okay, now back to our example program code that we ran earlier. Okay, now apparently this is a little different. This is a little different way of doing the same thing that we did in the other video where we were getting the information for the server page that we were on. Okay, but we're not using the when clause. We're doing it a little differently. Okay, and I'll look at that. Like here's the with clause, right? And instead of that, okay, something f. See here, we're putting the value in f, and we're doing the same thing here. It's just a little bit different. Okay, all right. So, like for instance, the print is inside the with statement. This is it's outside of the with statement. Now, here's the thing. Remember we were talking about the zipping and unzipping, and here's the little key that we use to take it from binary to whatever we want it to look at. And just to give you an idea, there are over 90 of these keys. But this is going to be the most likely one, unless you're going to a Turkish or Greek server. Anyway, with that, yeah, I'm not even going to bother you with having to read these explanations for these functions that you're probably not going to be using for a while. All right, now with that, let's go over and take a look at the and here we are in the sample code. All right, and I just kept the stuff over from the last time. Here we we use the with statement, but we don't use the decode. All right, and then here I screwed around with some of the codes that it uses. And the funny thing about it is it looks like it really doesn't have much of an effect. I mean, I think this thing blows up though, but I'm not sure. Let's so this is the sample code, and let's go to the output and see what it looks like. And here we are in the output. All right, and this is the binary or bytes type. And then apparently, regardless of what the code is, it all comes out the same. But what I want to, let's see if there's something interesting I can point to in here. Somewhere in this code, there should be some metadata that tells you what key to use. But I'm not seeing it. Because maybe if I had increased the number of bytes to look at from 300 to something a little bigger, I'd have gotten that bit of the HTML code. Anyway, so that finishes this video. Try to behave this afternoon, and we'll see you in the next one. Have a good day.